Welcome to Anuban Vegan Mess. Good day, I'm your teacher Daisy, your math teachers, and we'll have another lesson for today. Just stand, relax, listen, and enjoy. Our objectives is 1. Understand the transversal. To identify alternate angles and corresponding angles. To calculate angles between parallel lines, giving a reason for the answers. Determine interior and exterior. Parallel lines are lines that are always the same distance apart because they are always the same distance from one another. Parallel lines will never intersect. You can find parallel lines in many places, including the sides of geometric shapes like squares and rectangles and railroad tracks in your neighborhood. The slope of parallel lines are always equal, whereas the slopes of perpendicular lines are always opposite reciprocal. It is important to be able to determine whether lines are parallel or perpendicular, but the creation of parallel and perpendicular lines is also important. In this lesson, you will write the equation of the lines that are parallel and perpendicular to a given line through a given point. Our topic, parallel lines. And subtopic is 1. Parallel notation and symbols. 2. Creating parallel lines with a set square. 3. Parallel lines alternate angles and co-interior angles. 4. Parallel lines alternate angles and co-interior angles. And number 5, determining parallel line using alternate angles. And 6, determining parallel line using co-interior angles up to 180 degrees. What is alternate interior angles? Angle 3 and angle 6 are alternate interior angles because they are inside the two lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. Angle 4 and 5 are also alternate interior angles. If the two lines are parallel, then alternate interior angles are congruent. Parallel lines cut by a transversal. Alternate exterior angles. The opposite side of the transversal on the outside of the parallel lines, and these angles have the same measures. Parallel lines and transversal. A transversal is a line that passes through two lines, lying in the same plane at two distinct points. In the transversal, the two given lines may be parallel or non-parallel, and the angles formed when the transversal intersects two lines are as follows. Corresponding angles. Use parallel lines and transversal. Corresponding angles postulate. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the pairs of corresponding angles are congruent. A transversal. A line cutting across another lines create 8 angles. The corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, and the supplementary angles. Example. Angle on the opposite side of a transversal and outside two lines are called alternate exterior angles. And when lines crossed by the transversal are parallel, you can use the alternate exterior angles theorem to know the alternate exterior angles are congruent. Look at the example. So 1 and 8 with the same angles, that is 130 degrees same. Parts of an angle. the parallel lines, and the transversal. The transversal is any line cutting across parallel lines, and the two lines segment or rays never converge or diverge. That is the example of the interior and exterior. Okay, it is a line A and B parallel with the transversal T. As you can see, the 1 and 2, 7 and 8 are the exteriors, and the 3, 4 and 5 and 6 is the interior. Converse of the alternate interior angle theorem. If two lines and a transversal form alternate exterior angles that are congruent, then the two lines are parallel. That is the angle 1 to angle 7. Okay. Another example. In the figure, line AB is parallel to line CD, and S is a transversal. If M, angle A, is equals to 100 degrees, find the measure of all the other angles. Find X, so L and M are parallel. That is the example. That is 8 times 8x plus 9 is 132.2. We are going to find the x. The x is 15.4. Find the value of x that would make A parallel B. Number 1, angles of interest, angle 3 and angle 4. There are supplementary interior angle 8. S, I mean. If S's in interior are supplementary, then the line are parallel. So this is how to get the x. So M, angle 3 plus M, angle 4 is equals to 180. 46 plus 4 times plus 10, or no, 4x plus 10 is equals to 180. 4x plus 56 equals to 180. 4x is equals to 124. So x is 30. Thank you, students. This is our summary of our lesson for today. When two or more lines are cut by transversal, the angles which occupy the same relative position are called corresponding angles. When the lines are parallel, the corresponding angles are congruent. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the alternate interior angles form a congruence. Here is for today, and see you for the next day. Bye. Oh, parallel lines are lines that never meet. A transversal is a line that intersects two or more parallel lines. Parallel lines cut by transversal form 8 angles. Pair of angles will be either congruent or supplementary. Vertical angles are always equal whether you have parallel lines or not.